A sunny morning in May 2011 in the Ulan community in Singapore, Aran routinely gets up to cook for her son and plans to make a pot of green bean soup to cool down her family during the hot summer day. But when she turned on the tap, she noticed many unknown particles floating in the water, and the water was somewhat yellowish and blackish due to aging pipes and water quality issues. Similar situations had occurred before, so she didn't pay much attention to it. After letting the water clear a bit, she began to simmer the green bean soup on low heat until the green beans were done, then refrigerated it. In the hot afternoon, together with his son, they finished the entire pot of chilled green bean soup. What a relief it was. At the time of drinking, they didn't notice anything unusual. It was only a while later that they started feeling a weird taste in their mouth, causing significant nausea. There was a sensation of wanting to vomit, but not being able to. Fortunately, a kind person soon appeared and helped them vomit out the yellow water. The community manager told them a female body was found in the water tank and advised not to use the water recently as the police were retrieving it from the tank. Aaron and his son immediately vomited on the spot. Other residents were equally devastated, with around 700 people affected in the community. Some had just used the water to brush their teeth, shower, cook, and drink. The body had been bloating for some time and was swollen, forming a major blockage. This made the police's job very difficult. Regular methods could not lift it, as ropes would easily slice through the bloated parts, and nets would leave a lot of residues. Finally, someone ingeniously used a mosquito net to retrieve the body intact, wearing a t-shirt and shorts, with over a dozen knife wounds, and a large fatal wound on her back. Upon identification, it was found that the female body was Mrs. Wang's maid Wasiti, an Indonesian, 30 years old, divorced with a 4-year-old son back in her homeland. She had been in Singapore for less than 2 months and had quickly become involved with a Bangladeshi man named Che Tao. She was not very attentive to her work, often neglecting her duties to meet with Che Tao. Mrs. Wang, being kind-hearted, understood the difficulties of being a foreign woman and did not fire her, but an accident occurred too soon. The rooftop door was locked, and only the cleaning staff could access it. Che Tao had the key to the rooftop, so the police suspected him heavily, but Che Tao denied killing Wasiti, claiming she committed suicide. He suggested she stabbed herself, not mentioning the other numerous stabs. He was asked to explain how she could inflict such a posture on herself. "I'm not saying I don't believe you. I just want to understand how she could have stabbed herself like that. I just want to see for myself." Che Tao said he and Wasiti often came to the rooftop water tank for dates, but he is a very traditional boy. Usually they would just hold hands and watch movies, never doing anything inappropriate. But that day after the movie, Wasiti suddenly asked to have relations with him, or else she would kill herself. After saying that, she brandished a knife. Che Tao, afraid Wasiti might hurt herself or do something rash, tried to appease her as best as he could. After the incident, Wasiti opened the water tank and jumped in. The wound on her back was also caused at that time. Che Tao stated he desperately wanted to save Wasiti, but he was too exhausted from the ordeal to act. By the time he could stand, Wasiti was already motionless. When asked why he didn't call for help or alert the authorities, Che Tao said he was in shock, too frightened to think clearly. Forget trying to explain it away. I don't even want to mention the wound on the back. With so many inconsistencies, his story was full of holes. In any other place, he would surely be convicted, but in Singapore, there was a slight exception. Without concrete evidence, it's hard to be prosecuted, especially since there were no cameras or witnesses on the rooftop. After 8 rounds of interrogation, Che Tao was released without charges. He immediately found a new girlfriend, also an Indonesian, and coincidentally, Wasiti's close friend. There must be some story there. I don't believe it's just coincidence. And here's a fun fact. After death, all muscles in the body lose control, including the sphincter muscles, so that bowl of green bean soup was quite enriched.